Okay, so it's Catrice. I had surgery about almost 2 weeks ago now for the removal of fibroids and as well as endometriosis. And so I guess overall, in a nutshell, I could say that having never been under the knife before, it was the first 2 days of recovery were those days were difficult. I don't know. There was just a lot of pain. It was difficult standing up. Every time I started to move around, it felt like my entire insides from my lower abdomen were just like dropping. I did use my prescription pain medicine for the first 2 days, and after 48 hours, I was like, that's it. That's a wrap. I will tough it out with Tylenol, which I did. But notably by day 4, it was much better. I could tell a shift on day 4. I was able to move around a little bit better. I felt better, even though I was still hurting, but I felt better. So I actually originally went into my OBGYN, and with the pain I was having, okay, so I was having a lot of pain during my menstrual cycle, excruciating pain. I have a very heavy period. At the time, I had been on orthotricycline for 11 years. So I decided I probably should give my body a rest. And within 2 months of coming off of it, after 11 years, the symptoms were overwhelming. Very heavy flow, a lot of cramping, and the lower back pain was just unbearable. It gotten so bad one night I literally laid on the floor because I couldn't even lift my legs to crawl into bed. That's how bad it was. So I actually called my new OB/GYN and asked them if she could see me early. And they got me in, and I mean, by the first exam that she did, she said to me, you do have fibroids, which we had discovered earlier from another doctor with an ultrasound. But she mentioned, I really believe you have endometriosis based on the exam that she did there, which was a physical exam where she used her fingers to go into the body and, feel around on certain places, which caused a great deal of pain. So, all of that being said, she scheduled me for surgery about 3 weeks after that. And so I got to the hospital, they put in the IV, and by the time I went to anesthesia and in the operating room / getting hooked up to the anesthesia, I was out like a light. I was talking about work. The next thing I know, I was waking up talking about Dorothy and her red slippers. Okay, I am a shoe fanatic. But anyway, so after surgery, I have 4 incisions, one on either side of my belly button, one on top or above the belly button area, and then I have a lower one right below my pelvic line. And once they got in, they were able to remove the fibroids with no problem, but there was a tumor actually that had pushed my ovary against my pelvic wall. And so because of that, she removed that tumor as well and was able to surgically reposition my ovary. And thank heavens, my fallopian tubes are healthy, my ovaries are healthy, and my uterus is healthy. I did have a lot of endometriosis, all of which my doctor was able to take care of, except there's a spot on my colon, and she couldn't operate and take out the colon, of course. So she is now, I went to my post-op today, which has been almost 2 weeks later, and she is going to start me on a medicine called Lupron. I have researched this medicine, so I kind of have ideas of what people think about it, good and bad. And so the goal is, what Lupron, from my understanding, what Lupron does is it starves the body of estrogen to a degree. Basically, because the lesions with endometriosis that come along with endometriosis, those lesions and fibroids and tumors and all that, they feed off of estrogen every month when we have our cycle. We get this burst of hormone, of course, naturally. It's your cycle. And a burst of estrogen. And they feed off of estrogen is what was explained to me. So because they want to starve the rest of the endometriosis in the colon area where they couldn't get to operate there, as well as limit, limit as much as possible any more returning. At least for now, they want to do 6 months of Lupron. She explained today that I will come in once a month to the office for an injection, because some of the videos I watched with Lupron, some women were injecting themselves at home once a day. I think once a day. So I thought that's what I would be doing, but she's going to have me come in once a month. You also could do that once every 3 months, but that's a high dosage, and my doctor doesn't want to, she doesn't want to do that. She doesn't see the need for that. So I'm going to start Lupron when my next menstrual cycle starts, which should be in about 2 weeks. So the hot flashes, I'm expecting the hot flashes, the mood swings, I'm expecting to go through some craziness. But if that will better my chances of minimizing or totally eliminating the endometriosis and potential for scar tissue, I'll try it. Because I have not had any children, and I do want to have children one day, so I don't want to end up with a lot of scar tissue. And so I'm going to try this treatment. After the 6 months, yes, after the 6 months, from what I understand, she's going to then put me on a birth control while I only have my cycle once every 3 months. Once again, to limit the amount of estrogen that's coming through my system, on a regular basis. So, all of that being said, the only complication that I had after the surgery, the incision below my pelvic line it's a slightly larger incision. It's probably about 1 inch, where the other 3 are like dots. They're really small. Well, the one below is a little bit larger, and because of that, it's healing a bit more slowly than the others. So the doctor did look at it today. They made sure it was clean today, and it has a tiny little bit that's still open, but it's not a gaping hole. It's just very superficial on the surface, which it's kind of itchy now, thank heavens, and scabbing over a little bit like the others have done. And so hopefully that will run its course, and so recovery process, like I said, for me, day 1 and day 2 were difficult, a lot of pain. Oh, I did have bleeding. It felt like to me it was similar to, it was like a menstrual period. The doctor let me know, what you did not want after surgery is a lot of clotting and or a bleeding that was heavier than your regular period. And I bled for maybe 3 or 4 days, and then it started lightening until it went away. So because I was a little nervous at first until I remembered what the doctor mentioned. So that's it. I hope this has been helpful. This is my first video I've ever done, just because I've never been a video fanatic or sending out my personal business, so to speak. But I felt like maybe this could be helpful for other women that are going through the same thing. And so if you have any questions or comments, feel free. All right, bye-bye.